Hello and welcome. I have a subscriber. Oh my gosh, I never thought that would happen, but thank you very much. But let's move on to the topic for today. Today, I thought I would speak a bit about despair and loneliness because we are entering the holiday time of the year: Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, New Year's, as well as other observations and traditions, family gatherings, social events, holiday music, buying and receiving gifts, celebrations both public and private. According to one song, it's the happiest time of the year, but it can also be the loneliest and busiest time of the year. I will address the meanings of Thanksgiving and Christmas at another time, as I'd like to focus on the despair and loneliness that can come from the emphasis on family and celebrating that is a part of the holiday season. Because not all of us feel that we have a family or we have a physical and biological family, but we are so distanced from them that many people have suffered at the hands of their family, emotionally, physically, mentally. Many people also may feel that they don't have a good friendship group, and that at times one can feel almost invisible. People are talking about going hither and yon, what the great celebrations are going to be during the holiday season. Many people go on ski vacations or on a cruise to the Caribbean or to Hawaii. There's so much busyness and such an emphasis on being busy and being with others, that for those of us who may not have others with whom to celebrate, the feeling of loneliness can only grow and increase during this time. And many of us might feel despair in these situations. I'm alone, people don't care, and despairing about what it all means. It is so hard for so many when one feels alone, overlooked in your office or place of work. People may not notice, may not greet, and may not even really care. And so many of us might turn more and more into ourselves and almost feeling like we are in a hole. And how do we dig our way out of the hole? We just want someone to care. And it's many times so hard to find that. And it's many times so hard to move beyond our feelings of despair and loneliness. Although this is not necessarily a new concern or issue, it is one that seems to be growing ever more as more people rely on social media to provide friendships, however superficial they may be, or to provide the sense that people care, whether you're doing TikTok, Instagram, a YouTube channel, or just posting. Many times people feel validated when others are paying attention or others like or others comment on what is occurring. And yet we can see there are people with thousands of friends, people with a million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. And then when we look in, it's like, but nobody is listening to me. My thoughts don't count in the great scheme of things because I can't hold a candle to those whom hundreds of thousands follow, or even hundreds follow. And so I think that social media adds to this sense of loneliness, that who is listening to me? People are listening to all of these other content providers or opinion influencers and leaders. And so it can be so difficult to make it through. Why get out of bed if no one cares, no one even knows? Why show up at work? I'm just discarded. Other people are given more responsibilities, whatever it is. But it's so important to understand that we do matter. And I'm not going to resolve issues of despair or loneliness by trying to offer encouraging words. But I do want us all to know that we are valued. And maybe we're valued by just a few people. And maybe even if we're going to church or we belong to other organizations, we might sit in the back and sit in the corner and feel like no one knows us we're there. But someone knows we're there. Someone in that larger meeting knows we're there. And so we just need to look for that person, find that person. Many of us are very social and we have huge groups of friends. And if that's our scenario, then we really should be looking for those who feel as if they're an outlier or an outcast. Let's demonstrate our concern, our care, our friendship towards other peoples, even if it makes us a bit uncomfortable. Now, I know in the descriptor of what I want to cover in the channel, there is an emphasis on economics and politics and other things, but it just comes to my mind so much to deal with other concerns as well as those. And it has just been heavy on my heart to kind of focus a moment on despair and loneliness. Many people in Florida are still struggling to put the pieces of their lives together. I know there's people who have been victims of floods and fires and other natural disasters in other places in our country. I know there are people who have lost a loved one to violence or have lost personal possessions that one does not know how to recover from the loss of those items. And so many of us may feel just no one cares. What do I do? How do I even go on? And as always, because another point of this YouTube channel is to always look through the Christian lens of life. And so it is important to understand that God cares for us, even if we don't feel like any other living being cares for us. God cares for us. I'm not a big poetry person. If it wasn't written by Dr. Seuss, or if it's not rhyming, it's generally a poem I don't understand or I don't remember. But one poem that has always stood out to me has been the Footprints in the Sand poem. A lot of controversy about who actually wrote it, and there's been many, many versions over the years. But I found a source that cited Mary Stevenson as writing the original Footprints poem in 1939. So let me just take a moment to read this. One night, I dreamed I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Many scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were two sets of footprints, and oftentimes there was one set of footprints. This bothered me. I noticed that during the low points of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could only see one set of footprints. So I said to the Lord, "You promised me, Lord, that if I followed you, you would walk with me always. But I have noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there have only been one set of footprints in the sand. Why? When I needed you most, you have not been there for me." The Lord replied, "The times when you have seen only one set of footprints in the sand is when I carried you." And now I'd just like to read the 23rd Psalm. This is a psalm many of us memorized when we were children. My grandma Haley gave me $1 if I would memorize it. I remember that to this day. I'm going to read from the English Standard Version of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We are promised to be loved by God and to walk with God. And before I close, I just want to make one point in the first verse of the 23rd Psalm, where it states, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." I never understood that when I was a child. I'm like, if he's my shepherd, but I don't want him, how does that make sense? And what it really means is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. It means I shall not want for anything. I shall not have needs unfulfilled because he is going to take care of me. He makes me lie in the green pastures to feed me beside the still waters to quench my thirst and restore my soul so that I have value and honor with the Lord and that I can stand with him in his righteousness. So whether you are one who feels alone or feels despair, please take comfort that the Lord loved you, he knows you, he created you. And if you are one who doesn't have any feelings of loneliness because you are in a circle of supportive and loving friends and family, maybe reach out to someone who isn't as blessed in those riches as you. But nevertheless, I hope we always understand that no matter what we're feeling, the sorrow, the grief, the despair, the loneliness, there is one who cares. And with that, I just want to state that for the next couple of weeks, I will not be putting up a video as I'm going to go on a vacation. But I will upon my return. But that doesn't mean that I don't see it seriously, that if I can just bring a word of encouragement to just one person, then it is well worth the time to put forth little messages of hope, a lot of times historical fact and evidence, and hopefully encouragement. I hope you have a very good week ahead. Thank you so much.